Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Secretary, for your patience. And I know it's been a long afternoon. I want to talk about Afghanistan. My colleague earlier was questioning you and asking about Special Envoy Khalil Azad coming to speak to our committee, and you said that during ongoing negotiations, this would be something that would be very hard to do that hasn't been done in the past. We've had 2 special envoys come speak to our committee without leaks to the Washington Post.
That's actually not true.
Well, I've been in classified briefings from some of your special envoys.
Yeah.
We have a constitutional duty to make sure that we are overseeing what you're doing in the State Department. And so I don't accept the excuse that ongoing negotiations mean that we cannot have the information this committee deserves.
I'm trying to make sure you get the best information that you can that is consistent with your oversight duties. I'm determined to do that. I'm also determined to make sure we protect this information in a way that prevents us from undermining U.S.
I hope you understand that with a 17-year war heading into the 18th year, that the Congress deserves to have a role in how we're going to proceed here.
100%, I understand
Okay.
that.
Well, thank you. I think this committee deserves to have, we can have a classified briefing, we can do it in a way that I think is secure. I think if you were in our seat during the Obama administration era and we were having the discussions around the JCPOA, and that they refused to give you any information until the very end.
I actually was, and they did.
No, they did not. They gave you briefings. I know that that's...
meaningless and unimportant.
Meaningless briefings. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to have some kind of a briefing, because we haven't had that at all.
You want more than a meaningless briefing, and I wouldn't be doing it right if we gave you a meaningless briefing.
Well, this is an important issue, and I think this committee in particular deserves to have some information on it. And I want to also talk about the conditions for our withdrawal, because previous U.S. policy has required the Taliban to accept the current Afghan constitution, including its provisions and protections for women and minorities. Why have we dropped that condition?
You shouldn't be certain that we've dropped any conditions based on what you may have read in some newspaper.
Well, I haven't had a briefing, so I don't know what our conditions are.
You should know we are very, very focused on making sure that the gains that have been achieved aren't lost as part of this. The security gains that have been achieved, the gains, albeit intermittent with respect to corruption, we hope we can actually do better. But as you well know, this is still a very difficult place. It's the reason we still have thousands of soldiers on the ground, and we are focused on taking down the level of violence so that we can do precisely what it is I think you just...
Well, I share the recognition that we're not going to have a military solution to Afghanistan. My concern is if we have a precipitous withdrawal and then we pull out without the correct conditions in place, that the progress that has been made, particularly for Afghan women, will be lost. And I think that this is something that's in the interest of our country, it's in our national interest, and we need to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm hopeful that as part of those negotiations, that as you said, that's going to be part of it.
To describe a departure after 18 years as precipitous
no, the withdrawal would be precipitous if we just take whatever conditions the Taliban will offer us so that we can get out.
I promise you, we are going to maintain American security.
Well, my concern is that it seems that there might be just trying to fulfill a political promise going on here instead of a rational and reasoned withdrawal and doing it in the right way. And that's what I think this committee's jurisdiction directly falls upon, and that's why we need to have a briefing and talk to the folks who are involved in that negotiation.
Just so you know, I'm running the negotiation. So you're talking to the guy who's in charge of it.
Well, yes, right. I'd like to have some more information, and maybe we should have you back to talk about that specifically then.
Happy to do it in
the
right setting. Yes, sir.
So are we also caving to the Taliban's stance that the Afghan government is an illegitimate puppet of the U.S.? Because that's what they've said previously. Our conditions previously have been that they should be part of the Afghan government. Is this funny, sir?
Yeah, the fact that you're relying on third-hand reporting for something that the Taliban might or might not have actually said in some print report, yeah, I think we should all have better information.
Is the Afghan government actively part of this negotiation that we're having?
We speak, Ambassador Bass talks to President Ghani multiple times every week, multiple times every day on some days.
So your testimony is that right now the Afghan government is part of our negotiations with the Taliban?
Right now, the Afghan government is fully apprised.
Apprised?
Yes, exactly. And we are diligently trying to get these parties to work together.
And
the previous administration went at that for 8 years. I've had 10 months. We are diligently trying to achieve.
Well, my concern is that you're undercutting
Afghan conversations so that we can resolve this conflict.
Undercutting the Afghani government by not having them as part of the negotiations.
But that's just untrue.
In a direct role.
Just untrue.
Not to be apprised of it, sir.
They're just untrue.
In a direct role. Risks, when we do pull out, undercutting the legitimacy of that government, leading to the Taliban retaking power.